You're listening to the Secure Dad Podcast. Discover ways to secure your home, protect your family, and embrace your role as a protector parent. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy, the creator of The Secure Dad. This podcast serves to help families become proactive in their safety. The information I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and your family. Today, I'm going to address where we need to put our home surveillance cameras and what we're doing right and what we might be doing wrong. All of that and more ahead on the Secure Dad Podcast. One of the best ways that we can boost our home security is to run a home security assessment. If you've never done that before and you don't know what it is, don't worry, I've got you covered. I created the Secure Dad Family Home Security Assessment for people like us who want to know the steps that they need to take to prevent their home from being targeted for a crime. This assessment will help you identify what is and what is not working to keep your home safe, and then what you can do to level up the security of your home. It's a great way to get a realistic look at what's going on. To get your copy of my Family Home Security Assessment, go to thesecuredad.com or click on the link in today's show notes. Protect your devices with Silent. Silent offers privacy blocking for devices like smartphones, tablets, laptops, and even key fobs. Check out all of Silent's Faraday solutions at slnt.com and use promo code TheSecureDad for 10% off your order. That's TheSecureDad as one word for 10% off at checkout. There's a link in today's show notes. Home surveillance cameras are a great layer of defense for your home. They're going to help you see what's coming, enforce your boundaries, and keep an eye on your home while you're away. At first, you may think that you're going to want to have a camera covering every inch of your home, but in reality, that's not a good idea. So today on the podcast, I'm going to show you where cameras should and should not be placed. A lot of people put up doorbell cameras and think that they're good to go. They take off the old doorbell and stick up the new Ring camera, and they think they're good to go. After all, it's a doorbell camera combo, so you should put this new camera where the doorbell was. That only makes sense, and honestly, that's not always the case. So I'm going to challenge you to think a little bit different. This is going to require a little bit more thought. When placing doorbell cameras, and any camera for that matter, you have to consider what could block your view. A doorbell camera needs to capture the path leading to your home, people approaching your door, and of course be able to communicate with that person at the door. But if a porch post blocks the walkway up to the door, then it's not working for you. A doorbell camera may be blocked by a porch column, a potted plant, a decoration, and even though it's a doorbell camera, the default spot for it doesn't have to be where the old doorbell was. There's a lot of flexibility here. Always consider what might block your cameras like trees, bushes, parked cars, and seasonal decorations. You might need to mount it off to the side and put it on one of those adjustable angle mounts that you see on Amazon. That might be what you need to get the angle that you want from this camera. But if that doesn't work, then you need to ditch the doorbell and go with a dedicated camera instead. Simply place it above the door so that it can cover the door, the porch, and the approach, and generally shouldn't be blocked by much. This will take a little bit more effort, but it's going to pay off because you have an unblocked view of your porch. Another thing that we need to be concerned about when placing cameras around our property is that we need to be mindful of our neighbors. I've seen a lot of videos of upset neighbors ripping cameras off of people's houses or hitting them with rocks to turn them away from their property. The last thing you want to do is bring attention to your home surveillance system. That's the exact opposite of what you want. When people feel like their property or lifestyle is being recorded without their permission, they can act like Karens who must always have their way. Chances are you're not spying on your neighbors, but you do need to consider how each camera works for you and also for them. The key to neighborhood safety is to be on good terms with those who live around you. You don't have to be canasta partners or anything like that, but you do need to be seen as an ally, somebody who's competent. And if your cameras point too much towards somebody else's property, then you could inadvertently trigger a neighborhood fight. and we don't want to get the HOA involved, right? So be mindful of how the cameras look for you and for them. If you've listened to this show for a while, then you know what I'm going to say next, and yes, I still need to say it. I have been a strong advocate for keeping cameras out of bedrooms, family areas, and interior spaces in general. Inside of the garage is okay, but other than that, cameras belong outside. You don't need cameras inside for two main reasons. The first is that it might make your family feel as if they were living in a prison. While we want to make our home secure, there is a fine line that we can cross that makes our loved ones feel anxious and uncomfortable to be at home. That is not what we want. We want our home to be a home, not a prison. These cameras may make people feel uncomfortable, and it may also look weird to any family or friends that come to visit. Gosh, why do you have cameras up all over the place? I don't feel like I can be myself when I come over to your home. Those are things that you might hear. This is not what we want from our home surveillance system. Our home surveillance system works for us. We don't work for it. Now, second, you never know when your cameras are going to be doxxed in a data breach or someone hacks your network. This happens from time to time, and the results are disturbing. There are tons of leaked videos of hackers taunting homeowners through their cameras, and there's even cases of swatting. Back in December, several women were arrested after hacking Ring cameras in multiple states and calling in fake 911 calls to the hacked homes. Then they would string the chaos on social media. And when it was done, they would taunt the police through the cameras. So this happens way more than honestly you or I should be comfortable with. The intimate footage inside your home is not to be shared. Footage of your kids sleeping in their rooms and other private activities do not need to be captured on a surveillance camera. And by the way, even if your cameras aren't hacked, the files they capture are stored on a server with your metadata on them that can legally be viewed by employees of that company. So don't put cameras in these places. Keep them outside. I know some people like to use cameras to monitor their teenagers like baby monitors for high schoolers. If you don't trust what your kids are doing at home while you're gone, then a camera isn't going to solve that problem. There are other ways to deal with that, which do not involve prison-like surveillance. Now, let's go over some places where we do need to put cameras on our property. Criminals like to use doors to get into our homes. That makes sense because that's what doors are for. So every exterior door on your home needs to be covered. If you can dedicate one camera per door, that's great. It just depends on your setup and what your Wi-Fi can handle if you're using a wireless system. Not only will a camera at each door help you stay alert to what's going on, but it can also act as a deterrent. Remember that most criminals are lazy and don't want to have to go through a whole lot to get into your home. If they approach your home and they see a camera covering each door, then they're going to figure out that you mean business, and they're more likely to leave you alone. They can go visit your fussy neighbor who didn't like your cameras to begin with. Another exterior area of your property that you need to cover is your driveway. This is a vital spot for two reasons. First, it's an avenue of approach to your home. If somebody walks up your driveway, chances are they don't belong there. No one needs to be in your driveway without your permission. Seeing someone there is a red flag that you need to address. Second, you want to monitor any parked cars that you have in the driveway. Every day, cars in driveways are broken into across America. It is just a fact of life at this point. I hate it, but that's the case. You can actually go and listen to episode 218 of this podcast, where I give you tips about protecting your cars. Generally speaking, the best spot to put a camera to cover your driveway is high over the garage door, smack in the middle. You might consider a floodlight camera combo that will turn on and start recording when motion is detected. This may not be aesthetically pleasing, but it will cover your cars and anybody who approaches your driveway. Now, to wrap it up, I want you to consider putting a camera that covers your front yard. This way you can see when somebody approaches, turns around in your driveway, or even if a car passes your home too frequently. You may catch someone casing your home who didn't trigger your driveway or your door cameras. This is valuable information that you need to defend your home. Plus, if your neighbor's dog is digging up your flowers, you now have proof that it's happening. This angle of the front yard is going to help back up all of those other cameras that you have in place and give you a better idea of what happens when you're not around. Remember, the more time that we have to respond, the more information that we have, the better our defenses get. That's all we have for the Secure Dad podcast for today. Thank you, friend, for listening. Don't forget to download the Secure Dad Family Home Security Assessment. This checklist offers 12 pages of upgrades that you can make to your home security. And it's written for parents of all skill levels. Remember, if I can do it, you can certainly do it. Download your copy today at the link in today's show notes. I'm Andy Murphy, and until next time, take care and be secure.